Welcome to the ArmaniTalks podcast. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this podcast, I'm helping you level up your 5 soft skills: public speaking, storytelling, social dynamics, emotional intelligence, and creativity. 5 soft skills for you to change your life forever, skyrocket your confidence along the way. In today's episode, I'm going to be answering the question on whether or not it's smart to be friends with your coworkers. A while back, I talked about whether or not it's smart to date a coworker, and I brought it up on the ArmaniTalks show, which drops the first day of every month on my YouTube channel and this podcast, so be sure to be on the lookout. I talk about why you should not date a coworker. The reason why is because there are a lot of things that can go wrong. Let's say the relationship doesn't work out. What now? They may be talking about how you're bad in bed, how you're stingy, how you're abusive. And in the work atmosphere, gossip gets around fast. So just when you thought that you were about to get that promotion, your ex gets in the right ears of the right people. And those people are like, you know what? Let's not give this guy a promotion. He seems like a scumbag. So I would highly recommend that you do not date a coworker. It's one thing if you leave the company or they leave the company and then you pursue something. But while you guys are working in the same company, avoid it at all costs. Now, what about being friends? That's way lighter than dating someone. Is that fine? I have a pretty polarized opinion on this. I don't think you should be friends with your coworkers either. It's one thing if you're being civil with them. It's one thing if they're like, hey, yeah, you want to come to lunch with us? And you're like, yeah, sure. I'm not doing anything. I don't have to eat in my cube. We could go to the sushi house. That's one thing. But it's completely different when you are like, hey, guys, do you want to come over to my place on Friday and we could all watch a movie? Now it seems as though your worlds are getting too blurred. And once again, things can go wrong very quickly, where there's a lot of these management information out nowadays that are like, well, if you want your teams to bond, have them socialize more after work. And you would think that this would work. You would think that whenever these different individuals are going to these work socials after work, that they're going to be bonding more. But that's not what happens. Instead, what happens is that these people now feel more comfortable to gossip about each other. They're over here passing jokes and stuff a little too much. And by the time you bring that energy to the workforce, they have this aura of incompetence to them because they're too comfortable. Now, if you're coming up to me and you're like, Armani, I really don't have any friends at all. Is it fine if I'm even friends with them for a little bit? I would say it really depends by what you mean by friends. If you're going to dinner with them, that's one thing. But when you're inviting them to your home, that's another thing. And to make this even more nuanced, if you really want to be friends with a coworker, it's best that you don't work in the same team as them. So hypothetically speaking, let's say you work in this company called Morgan & Morgan. And within this company, you work in a team called ECC. And there are other teams within your floor. One of the other teams is HSC. ECC and HSC, they don't really interact at all on a day-by-day basis. However, you ran into one of the members, let's say in a work event. You find this member from HSC to be pretty engaging. So now you start to build a friendship with him. Since you guys aren't working on a day-by-day basis together, instead, you guys work in different teams and you just happen to run into each other at work. I believe this is an okay relationship for a friend. But when you work with someone in ECC and you're trying to be friends with them, that's when it becomes very risky and I would not recommend it. Know when to draw these boundaries because we don't go to work to play. We go to work, and we live life to play. And the second that you begin mixing and matching a little too much, what happens is a lot of bad things. You could say a friendship gone wrong with a coworker is very similar to a relationship gone wrong. It's just not worth it, my friend. And you will realize that once things really do go wrong. So if you enjoyed today's talk and you want to learn more about communication skills, be sure to check out the ArmaniTalks free daily newsletter. Within this newsletter, you will learn much more about public speaking, social skills, emotional resilience, and much more. Check out the newsletter in the link in the description box, or go on ArmaniTalks.com/newsletter and sign up today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks podcast, and I'll catch you next time.